you had Trump on your show about a year ago.
Like 3 days in to the first, no, like 4 days. It was like the Monday of the second week or something like that.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think he ever was on The Rapport, was he?
No, he did field pieces. Like, we interviewed him for pieces about, like, trouble he was having with his flagpole and, like, not a metaphor, literal trouble with his flagpole. Like, his flagpole being too tall,
trouble with
like
that,
in Florida or something.
Yeah.
He did interviews, but not in the studio.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and you actually apologized to him.
On the show I did, because I had this theory. I had this crazy theory. I said, well, I'll start off. I wonder if I'm just like nice to him, if I'm not aggressive to him, if I could get a different behavior out of him. And so I said, first I'd like to start off by apologizing. I've said some terrible ththings about you. And he said, you've said some good things too. And I said, not that I remember. And I said, well, I've said some terrible things about you. I'd like to apologize. Is there anyone you'd like to apologize to?
Right.
No.
No
and that
apologies.
Was like that was the whole interview, essentially. It was the whole interview.
And you also said,
like,
I'm going to give you a big, huge, fat meatball.
Yeah, I'm going to toss it up right now.
You can just swat it away.
Yeah.
You want to drop
what was the
question?
birtherism? Oh, yeah, was President Obama born in the United States?
He wouldn't go there either.
No, he wouldn't swing at it. Don't want to answer that question. Don't want to answer that question.
I don't talk about that anymore.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, here's a big fat meatball right over the plate. You can hit it right out of the park. Was President Obama born in the United States? I don't talk about that. And that was actually the most, like, people ask me, like, what guests don't you like? You know?
Yeah.
And all I want is for someone to come on the show and be themselves. The way they are publicly in the world, be that way on the show. Don't come here and be good.
Yeah.
Don't come here and say, I'm a reasonable man here. And it does happen on both sides of the political aisle.
Yeah.
People be very provocative on the campaign trail or in their book or in their article or on their radio show, Bill.
Yeah.
But then they come on the show and they sit there like a schoolboy with their hands, their tiny, tiny hands on their lap. And that's what he did. My brother Ed, who's I'm a huge fan of my brother, and I think he's a brilliant guy. He was watching in the audience that night, and he came up to me after the show, and he goes, okay, so Donald Trump is not a dumb guy because he just played it incredibly safe. He knew he had no benefit to be the professional Donald Trump on camera. And he just sat there like a schoolboy. And I found him boring. I really, you know what, he was low energy.
Yeah,
he was low energy is what he was.
So, and you said you sort of regret that interview now.
Yeah,
in some
well,
way,
I mean, I don't regret the attempt. I don't regret the attempt. I regret that that's probably the only bite I'm going to get at the apple.
Well, I was going to say, will you have him on?
I would have him on tomorrow, but he's a coward.
Well, have you asked?
Of course.
You ask all the time, right?
Well, no, but all the time, because I don't book my show. But I ask, like, these are the people I'm interested in.
Right.
And I would ask him, but it is clear that Donald Trump is a coward because he won't come back on the show.
Well, you're making that public now.
Oh, he's a chicken.
He's a chicken.
To put it in his own terms,
Donald, step up.
And let me translate it into his own language. He's got a great sense of humor about himself. I'm sure he won't mind.
He'll love it. You may get a tweet today.
Oh God! What would I give? What would I give? What an honor to have him talk about my sex tape, or to have a sex tape. That would be so exciting.
That'd be good. But
can we get on that?